Hey everyone, anyone else really hate that bubble that appears after a hook? It completely blocks off a part of your vision, making it hard to see in that direction and even catch auras. It also lasts ages too. Another thing you all hated was that the hook sound goes on for way too long. After someone gets hooked, the scream let out is just a bit much. In this video I'm going to be covering lots of small things in the game that you find to be irritating or annoying. These are not huge problems, but just small nitpicks that bother you all every now and then. This is the embodiment of pettiness in a video, this time from all of you. Getting skill checks when you leave a generator was a big one in the comments. The fact alone that you can be on a generator and get a skill check as soon as you leave is just so annoying. It's one of those unavoidable instances. I'm not really sure how you would change this though. It's one of those nitpicks I think you can't really get around, unfortunately. Alessa Gillespie lost her red ribbon that originally appeared in her hair, where now she has a black or grey one. As you can see in old footage she had a red ribbon, yet here she has one of a different colour. I'm not sure when this was changed, but some of you aren't happy about it. I'm not sure which one is like the canon design either, because I'm not actually sure. Because all the pictures I could find of Alessa, she's always facing forward, so you can never see the ribbon. I think the red one did look better though, it was a bit more uniform with the one on her top as well. Nancy and Steve both don't have Stranger Things music in the lobby. I do find this odd as well. The Resident Evil characters, even on the Survivor side, do have that theme, and even a slightly unique one I think. Therefore, I do think it'd be nice if they both got it too. Maybe it's just a case of them forgetting after they were added back to the game, I don't know. But Stranger Things music for both Steve, Nancy, and also Jonathan would be really cool. Most legendary survivors have their full name displayed, but for some reason, Rain doesn't have her full name. This is really odd. It should be Rain Carradine, but instead it's simply Rain. Pyramid Head can't nod, which is truly a tragedy. Every other character can nod their head, and it looks pretty funny. But Pyramid Head can't, presumably because of the pyramid on his head. It's just too big, I guess. But I mean, surely they can, adjust and break the rules a little bit and make it so he can just nod, even if it's a very slight nod, just, something. Also because it would just look very funny. Perks before Alien have old text formatting is one I never noticed, but it's totally true. If you check out any perks that released with Alien onwards, you'll notice the top part of flavor text is yellow and italicized, as well as the bottom text, which usually has a quote. The old style seems to just be that the text at the top was white and non-italicized. It's weird why it hasn't been formatted to be universal. I would like to see that happen. I think I do like the new formatting as well. The fact you can't unlock cosmetics in trial for events now, but instead typically unlock them through a store of some kind or rift. I do understand this one, and I do think it counts as a nitpick, as it's more just the method of receiving the thing. I do agree that it does feel a bit more rewarding and special to receive the cosmetic after a game and it popping up and unlocking. It's a nice feeling compared to just going over to the store and unlocking it manually. It feels a bit more special that way, and like you achieve something specifically from the game, which I do like. Clown doesn't make a sound when kicking a wall is an odd nitpick, but basically it's that Clown does a grumble or a cough or a bleh sound for everything aside kicking walls. It would make sense too if every other action warrants a sound. Why is Clown so silent when he goes to kick a wall? Clown's arm wiggles when he holds a bottle is another one mentioned. This one I have actually noticed too, and it is fairly bothersome. Not sure why this happens, but it's probably just a visual bug. Blood Warden's tears jump from 30 to 40 to 60 is one nitpick I really liked because it is just so petty, but I love that. This nitpick just being essentially that it's weird that Blood Warden's tears jump up in inconsistent increments. Perk tears as a whole are already one of my nitpicks, but I just love how specific this one is. It is weird how it goes up by 10 then by 20, I don't get that either. Iridescent Add-Ons not being able to be run together is a really great nitpick. I think this one is really valid and is debatably a larger issue than a nitpick, but it's debatable. Basically, it's really annoying that some Iridescent Add-Ons for killers cannot be run in conjunction with one another. There's some that do work really well, like Iridescent Head and Soldier's Putty, or Doctor's 2 chess piece add-ons, or Maya's Judith's Tombstone and Fragrant Tuft of Hair. But then you have these annoying instances like with Hag, where her add-ons directly automatically counter or negate one another. Mint Rag makes it so you can teleport to any of your traps at will, but then Waterlogged Shoe makes it so you can't teleport. Nurse has an Iridescent Add-On which allows her to blink 3 times, but then she has her other one which restricts your blinks to just 1. So I agree, this is just really annoying, and Iridescent especially should have some synergy or at least be usable or viable with one another. I would argue in a broader sense that every add-on in the Killer's kit should be usable with every other, and by that I mean that they should work and not cancel out the other's abilities, because you can technically run them all together, it's just they don't always work. Unknown doesn't use its axe to break pallets. I like this one. You follow my lead on Huntress and you came in with this absolute banger of a nitpick. It's true. Why doesn't Unknown use its axe to break the pallet? Once again, axes famously being good wood felling tools. You also follow my lead on the whole Oni screaming thing and made an excellent point about Were-Elk. Were-Elk also screams too much. I actually think too that Were-Elk does scream a bit more than Oni, and it's actually quite irritating. I hadn't realized it before. An amazing nitpick you had was that the word charms covers the charms search bar. I agree, this sucks. Of all the things we need a search bar for, it's definitely charms, which there are so many of with so many similar ones too. So the fact that charms, the word, covers the charm search bar is very annoying. The search bar does work too, but I can only type into it by clicking on the word charms and then typing what I wanted to find. I did figure out how to do it though. What you have to do is press on charms, so you get the word charms and all the charms appearing, then you click on charms again, the charms icon, and it disappears, allowing you to see the search bar when you're using it. So, I mean, even so, that's still a good nitpick. You just need to do an extra step, but I mean, yeah, that shouldn't happen. Have it display on the other side, I guess, the word charms. Talking about this too, I want to add in that it'd be nice to have more filters for just about everything. On charms, for example, it'd be really nice if we could filter it by which tome or rift it's from, or even year maybe. There's literally hundreds of charms, so it would be nice if it had a slightly more thorough system. Same goes for perks and cosmetics. Perks do work a bit better because you can just type in any word that appears in its description, which is really nice by the way. Maybe if this worked for charms too, that could make it easier. Like all charms relating to a character appear if you search the character name. For example, currently you get a few if you search nurse, but then you miss out lots of nurse related ones because in the flavor text they refer to her real name of Sally, so it doesn't quite work. So if you just type nurse, it'd be nice if it, you know, brought up all the Sally ones too, if that makes sense. There's a really loud whispering when inducing red vomit as plague. As you walk about after inducing it or after it just activating, it's this really loud whisper with all the whispering noises. It goes on, and its audio level, I guess, is just a bit too high. I've not actually really noticed this personally, but my game sound has been on 10% for about 3 years now, so I'm probably not the best person to discuss this one. No terrain or detail after leaving the trial or outside of the trials was one mentioned a lot too. When looking outside the trial or even after exiting the trial, you'll see there's very little texture or anything at all. It can take you out of the world a bit just seeing a void around the edge or just barely textured flat land. So I do agree with that one. It's a bit disappointing, but then, I mean, yeah, you mainly need to see what's in the trial, so I don't know. It's a tough one. The game would probably run a lot worse if it was textured back there, so it's a good compromise, right? Daily rituals are not viewable in-game is something that's a very valid nitpick. I'm not sure, honestly, how we still can't view ongoing dailies or tome challenges in-game in the pause or menu screen. We can see more information than before, like perks now, but please just let us view the challenges and its progress in the same screen. That'd be amazing. Like, it does update in the trials now, but if we could actually see it constantly by in the pause or escape menu, that'd be great. Birkin's vial should be purple or green and not blue, because he's infected with the G virus and not the T virus, was something pointed out in the last video. A nitpick of my nitpick. Good work, everyone. It's annoying that the camera does a soft kind of lock when using Vecna's Dispelling sphere. This one does annoy me too. You shoot it out and you sort of get a little stuck for a brief moment with the slower turning. Yeah, that one's irritating. The broken key does not appear visually broken when held, despite its icon showing it to be. The key itself is completely intact and looks identical to the others. In fact, this point can probably apply more broadly to the many small differences in items. There's a different design for each key, a number of toolboxes, medkits, and maps. There are some cases where it does change the design too, as in like the actual model, like the Anniversary, Halloween, and Blood Moon special items, but largely it doesn't, at least for the basic ones. Shadows are incredibly silly looking a lot of the time. This one is one you cannot unsee once it's been brought to your attention, but just about every shadow for a killer in game looks really strange. I think it's due to how the first person camera is rigged up as killer to make it so you're seeing the correct things and other parts are not in your vision. It ends up making the shadows look utterly bizarre though. I'll place a few examples in the background, but it's just this strange contorted look to them that can take you out of it a bit. This only really shows up on the brighter maps like Coldwind though, so I do think it's fair as just a nitpick. Pig no longer holds a trap in her hand in the lobby. Pig used to do this when selected, she'd have a trap in her hand ready to go. She does still seem to have the same animation for this too, except now there's no trap. Vecna's eye and hand challenge is one that was mentioned as too difficult due to its reliance on luck and just being so specific in its required circumstances. The challenge requires you to obtain, use, and then escape with the eye or hand of Vecna. It's rare enough to see Vecna at all, let alone find these items, which require a d20 rolled to obtain after opening one of the special Vecna chests. And then you have to further survive the trial also. I do agree it's just too many dice rolls, including some literal dice rolls, to get this one done. Both Alien and Chucky cannot be rotated in the pregame lobby is a great nitpick. I find this one annoying too, and I don't get why they can't be rotated. It's nice to be able to look at the characters from all angles and see the full design of them whilst waiting or just vibing in the lobby. It's just a little weird they can't turn. You can do this in the store as well, so I don't think it's... So I'm not sure why you specifically can't do it in the lobby, or why it's got this fixed camera. Maybe to do with the animations. Chucky does have sort of like a chair he sits in, so it could be a bit different with that. I'm not too sure. The Skilled Huntress achievement on PlayStation requires you to down 100 survivors with hatchets beyond 24 meters away, where PC and Xbox only require it to be done 20 times. I have literally no idea why this is the way it is, but maybe it was a miscommunication somewhere, because this one is just strange, I'm not sure. Knight is listed as average height despite him being massive. That's a good one to end on. Thank you all for submitting your thoughts, and I really enjoyed looking through all the nitpicks you suggested. Thanks, and goodbye.